when you're talking about a Queen's bench, like people will say, oh, in 1875, an act of Parliament abolished Queen's bench. It's like, you know what? Queen's bench is just a set of rules. It's not, if at one time it was an actual building or an actual office, that's fine. If you could actually go into like the Royal Courts of Justice and actually find some room called King's Bench Division or Queen's Bench Division or King's Bench or Queen's Bench, that's lovely. That's fine. So if they close that office, they said, you know what, we don't need that office anymore. It's like, you know what, that's fine with me. Because like I said, when Queen's Bench is just a set of rules in which we're going to play by. Well, King's Bench is just a set of rules, and where a man is going to appear, and we're going to require another man to appear, and we're going to actually have to require that other than just being a court of like summary decisions or summary defaults, we're going to actually have to have a man stand in court and actually have to move his claim. So just because, like they say, in 1875, Act of Parliament, whatever, abolished King's Bench, or just like they said in the United States of America over here, all of a sudden Congress passed a law and said, we're not going to do claims courts anymore. It's like,
so what?
oh well, so you're not going to.
You said to me, I think earlier in the week.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, and so what? So you don't do it? I don't care. You know what? I'm still going to make a claim in this public courthouse. And you can't stop a man because man is your sovereign. Man created you. So it's like you could tell God he's not going to make any more suns or stars in the sky, or any more planets, because the galaxy is just using up too much hydrogen, and at this rate we're all going to die in 3 trillion years. So you know what? Actually, we're going to pass an act of Parliament or an act of the Congress, and we're going to say that God can no longer create stars in the sky, and as a matter of fact, we're going to start taking away God's rights, and we're going to say God doesn't even have any rights to create anything anymore, and unless he gets our approval, unless he gets a license. So, like I said, it's like I said to you, I was hoping that you were saying, yeah, I kind of see the absurdity of what they try to do. It's absurd, and a man might actually give a damn what an act of Parliament says. Now, if you want to be a member of that society and you want to go along with that crazy belief that you could, no longer let man determine, by what rules he's governed under, by what rules he plays under, God bless you. It's just like people would, who know the Bible, who know the story of the Tower of Babel, when the man shot an arrow at God. He thought he was mightier than God, so he stepped upon the Tower of Babel to the top, and he drew his bow and tried to shoot up into the heavens, kill God, which was kind of funny. And then his magnificent tower that he built, and all the people were scattered all over the earth, and that's where you get all the multiple different languages, because it was like, how come we got so many different languages when we all supposedly came from one area on planet Earth? How come our languages are so varied and different? And that was the Judeo belief of why. But it was a good story. Like you can't, your arms are, that old famous saying in the 70s, your arms are too short to box with God. Don't even try. So if an act of Parliament tries to say, well, we totally abolished King's Court. It's like, okay, we abolished King's Court. Okay, you can't abolish King's Bench. Okay, that's fine. We abolished the sun from rising in the morning. Okay, that's fine. Whatever the hell makes you happy, whatever makes you guys think you're powerful and got all this authority, God bless you. You're just a bunch of silly little, word nerds, and, you couldn't fight your way out of a paper bag. So, go ahead and make yourselves all feel mighty and powerful by making all these ridiculous laws and rules. But that's okay. And that's what I was trying to explain to you the other day about, King's Bench, Queen's Bench, just trying to explain to you it's ridiculous what they're trying to do. But yeah, go ahead. You were talking about money and how the Irish were complaining about.
No, I was just saying, so just a general rule. If I go somewhere and I don't like something, I just sort of keep it to myself, go away, and I do something myself where I'm happy with. But I said I just can't quite understand this mentality where people think it's okay to go to somebody else's house and then complain about the food, complain about their sofa, it's not comfortable enough, and put their feet on the table and say, no, but my rules allow me to put my feet up on on your table, and just kind of push this kind of weird way of doing things. For me, I think that's a little bit rude. But if I truly didn't like the way a household ran, I don't think I'd really moan too much about it. I might mention it in a polite way, but other than that, I'd leave and I'd make sure my house is never run that way. But I just didn't quite understand why. There's this big problem about money, big problem about mortgages. Okay, fair play. They might want to do something about that. But at the end of the day, what's in their wallet, and they sing and shout, and they're always craving for is money. So you're going back down to giving energy to. 1 minute you're saying they're your enemy, and the next minute you're saying, oh, I'll love to pray to that green bit of paper. It just seems a bit weird. You either use their money or, start slowly devolving away from it. I don't know, the most expensive buys in your house are going to be maybe a house, a car, or when you sell a house, when you get older, when you pay the mortgage off. Then transfer the money through some form of Bitcoin or we'll talk about Scotland maybe sometime later, but there's a Scot coin, there's a Aurora coin, there's all these kind of different kind of electronic currencies, of which that are not owned by any state. So you're not subject to a particular rule or the financial industry. So I think that for some people that might be attractive, and if that's what they want to do, then so be it. But that certainly makes more sense. If you want to slowly remove yourself from a particular belief system of which you disagree with, that's a slow kind of way of moving in that direction. And it is good to have a financial system of some description, although it may not benefit people right now. At some point, it's going to be useful. So it's good to have the choice, and more choices the better. That's always good. And that kind of puts the competition in check. Where it's just a pure monopoly, then that's never going to be good. It doesn't matter what kind of industry you're in, be it Apple or something. If there's only one telephone, you're going to get ripped off. But if you have loads of good competitors, then they'll fight for it, and then they'll be charging reasonable for it. So just a simple way of thinking, supply and demand, I suppose. I don't know which way. But that was just some of the weird thinking about that.
Well, let me just bring that up with some man on a chat board said it wasn't abolished, it was merged. Acts of desperation. But what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter if the Act of Parliament says, well, you know what, we're going to merge our capacity to regulate star matter and whether God can create stars anymore or not through an Act of Parliament. I don't care if they merged it, abolished it, created it, reenacted it, rediscovered it, buried it. I don't care what a piece of paper says from 1875. That person who's there did not contract on my behalf, does not act on my behalf. I can't bring that man into court to prove whether or not that's the accurate, true article in which he created. I can't tell if it's a forgery, and I don't really give a damn. And this is what I'm trying to say. That's why, why people have to start understanding, and that's good that we met up with, what's his name? Roger Hayes. And Roger Hayes, picked up on some of the stuff I was putting down by saying lawful rebellion, which I don't think I'd call it a rebellion. To me, it's just by lawful authority. We're going to hold the man, the judge, liable for failing to recognize in common law. Because anytime you're dealing with a code, when you're walking into and you got a citation or a summons to appear, what you're really walking into is like a summary conviction court. And you could actually literally Google the word summary conviction court. So what they're basically saying is you're guilty because they believe you're in breach of contract for driving or for whatever act, under the code that you've done in which they believe was illegal, that you shouldn't have done it, that you were in violation of some certain code. So they don't have to disclose why you're there. They don't have to disclose all the terms and conditions. You are presumed to have known them. Or you're assumed. No, you got the liability. Not only presumed, you're assumed. Understand why you're there at that time and why they have the authority to control you and the jurisdiction over you, which means the same thing. But what I'm trying to say is, it's nice that you said, oh, thank you for telling me that, Queen's bench isn't abolished, it's merged. Huh? Whoopie-doo. It's merged, not merged, converted, abolished, outlawed, inlawed. I don't care. I'm just telling the other side, when you show up into this courthouse, into this public courthouse, and under the common law, I'm going to require you to act like a man and answer for a man and act, on your own behalf. Unless we both agree to get lawyers, then that's different. But what I'm trying to say is this is the rules of common law. And these rules have been established since caveman was together in some sort of a little tribe group. His common beliefs were if my caveman neighbor did me wrong, I was going to get the community elder, or I was going to get the whole community as a whole, or all the males, or all the males and the females together, and we were going to judge, and we were going to determine whose bone is that? Is that mine, or is that my neighbor's? Did he take it from me, or didn't he take it from me? Did he buy it from me? Did he purchase it? Did he swap with fair and equitable compensation? Was he unjustly enriched? This stuff has gone back since caveman time. So for an act of parliament to say, well, we don't do what we've done for the last 10,000 years is ridiculous.